Damn it, my tenant abandoned my place, he ran without paying a cent. Left me no phone or address I can go to, and no clue where I can trace him right now. Now I sit with this house full of things that belong to my tenant, I'm burning them wild. Blouses and shoes and some diapers with doodle, yeah, what I'm gonna do with this furniture now? Burner this match, that learning little bastard, I'm feeling so mad, but yo, that ain't my style. Got my composure and doubted my lawyer and got the info, yeah, he showed me just how I should proceed to throw out his things legally. Said he teach me about the procedure and rules will apply, my dude didn't lie. Yeah, he gave me the truest advice. If the tenant vacates your property and leaves items behind the premises, you're going to need to look to Section 250-505A of the Landlord-Tenant Act of 1951 to determine how to get rid of that property. This applies whether it's here, the tenant skips out and leaves all the furniture behind, or if they substantially vacate the premises but left key items behind. As you expect, the landlord has say on how to dispose of the leftover property, but it's important that you pay attention to the rules set forth in the Act. Otherwise, you can find yourself being sued for damages. Let's proceed. 250-505A. In Pennsylvania, it says that a landlord has say when a tenant abandons his place, even things, and how to handle it. Yeah, the law MPA grants landlord's discretion. That's subject to this section. Class concession. Yes, whenever a tenant's left an item or property behind it that the lease, landlord is required to send them notice and write them that shows them the rights to recover the items that they left behind. Also requires the landlord to provide tenant this notice through mail to a place tenant told them to forward any correspondence. This includes contact meant for emergency purposes if an address was provided, plus send a copy to the lease premises, giving these tenants 10 days to respond. Time we can count from the date on the postage on the envelope for the notice and dial. Now, say that the tenant responds, and it's so timely, the law provides. Tenant can ask for the landlord to hold his belongings in storage for him for a time, not to exceed 30 days, that is, and tenant handles the fees. Oh, but if he does indeed overstay 30 days, then there's things you can heave, toss it, trash it, dash it, bunch up the gun and skip notice required by statute. That dude's got you for damages 3 times in fact, plus attorney's fees and court costs, so don't hurry, B. And start skipping steps, it's not worth it, see, there's no urgency. PA requires landlords to give tenants 10 days written notice to retrieve any items tenant left behind at the rental property, unless such notice is either waived by the lease, or if the lease sets forth a different time frame for the tenant to respond to the notice. But as we've seen here, tenants left the rental property in the middle of the lease term and provided the landlord with no forwarding address and no alternative means of contact. What does that mean for a landlord? Is he free to toss out tenants things at will? Let's find out. C. Unless the lease specifically states that the notice of 10 days is waived or contradicts, or if language is different, they gotta send it, whether your tenant does voluntarily or if he's evicted, whether the lease term is ended, makes not a difference. Nope. But you're concerned, do I hear it? You said, oh boy, if no warning, or address the forward, stuck you with rent left unpaid and that you're unsure just how to move forward. But for the remedy, you're gon' point to 505A, B5 the day, saying when tenant is in it, stay, and when his rent is behind, you should wait for 15 days. Then, if tenant fails to reach out to you, post a notice on his door or a place where he's bound to observe it. Wait out to 10 days, and that's your word. Send one by mail to be served to the lease premises, and that's your finish. They cut up the tenant should miss the time limit, then this one is done. All of his stuff, you can get rid of it, and it'll be legit. Rights will have none. Pennsylvania considers personal property abandoned when a tenant leaves the premises during the lease term and fails to pay rent for 15 days. At that point, a landlord with no forwarding address and no emergency contact can satisfy the 10-day notice requirement by posting the notice on either the door of the lease premises or a place that will be visible by the tenant. He should also send a copy of the notice to the rental property. At that point, the notice requirement has been satisfied and the landlord is free to do whatever he wants with the property if the tenant fails to respond. Like the song? Want to hear more like it? Head over to JustMisterESQ, where law and hip-hop meet.